Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be going through the dungeon lab, which is found behind me. So, the first thing you want to do is pick up the quests. You can find them from this guy outside, and you want to take the first two. They're very essential. Give ancient stone glyphs and other nice things, as well as a bit of gold. You can enter once a day, as you'll see now. Lab is quite an interesting dungeon, and basically they're made up of 5 waves of monsters which turn up with a special extra wave after the main boss appears. It's something you can do in solo or up to a party of 6. It just depends on how you want to do it and the DPS you have. I like to do it on Constitution, mainly so I have enough health, as the ash trees which appear do a decent quantity of bleed. I'll use a cooldown tincture since my cooldown isn't max because I have not enough Fenris armor at the moment. And catnip. That's right. I like to use Baltro to help me here. Any class can use it. You want to situate it at just the middle where you can't walk any further. Slightly behind, and keep it on passive mode, so it will attract all the monsters that appear in the main lane. The middle lane is generally the easiest lane, but the left lane is for the physical classes and the right lane for the magical classes. So if you're doing a trio or a duo, that's how you might want to set it out if you have different classes. The main aim of this dungeon is just to kill everything that you can. Don't let the crystal get touched. It can feel a bit stressful, but after a while you just kind of get into the flow of it. Just start, you know when to kill stuff and how to do it. The first few waves are generally very simple. You can just AoE get those mobs killed. Obviously, you may not be able to one-shot them at first, but that doesn't matter. Just the important thing is to make sure no one touches the crystal. The loot is really rather good that you can get in here, and it's very helpful for crafting, for tempering items. You can even drop crafting packages for Zanars. After that was the first wave, so after that we're just going to claim all our loot. Don't have enough infantry space for it. And then we will go and activate the lever. And you see my Baltro is now following me, so I'll want to change that after I kill the first wave. Doesn't matter that werewolf didn't die. That's alright. Baltro can just sit there. Keep the trees occupied. It may not seem that logical why I'm putting my Baltro there instead of auto-looting, but trust me, it will seem the reason will become very clear after a few minutes when we get into the third wave. These first 2 waves, the creatures are very melee ranged and just will go straight for the crystal, so quite easy to block and easy to deal with. Even the little trees, they're fine. We're nearing the end of this wave now. That tree ought to be the last one. There we go. Alrighty. Now, the next wave 3, is where the danger begins to start. In the middle lane, bombs will start to appear, and they do extreme quantities of damage to the crystal, so you must keep your Baltro there. You can wait for the 1 minute to be up, which is what I will do, because I don't want this to move and the bomb to run and get to the crystal. From this lane and from this lane, cursed mummies will appear, which don't do quite as much damage as the bombs that will appear here, but do a significant quantity, so you really want to avoid both these lanes, the bombs hitting them. There'll also be magicians which spawn, which are long ranged, so you also want to be very wary of those, because while they may not do a lot of damage, they will do a significant quantity of them. So these explosive mummies. And as you can see, the bombs, it will come for me because my Boltra is there. Either that or it will explode on the Boltra. It makes life a lot easier. And I mean a lot. Now let's just kill the trees, which may bleed if you're not able to kill them fast enough. Possessed girls will kill themselves, but they may start by summoning bombs. These explosive mummies, oh that's a bomb. Explosive mummies, so you want to be very careful with those, because there's nothing worse than just realising you've let a possessed girl through and she spawned a mummy. Again, you may feel rather stressed while doing these, but after just some practice it will get a lot easier. For magicians it's very easy, and any long range class really, because of the extreme long distance of skills that you have. For physical classes it's a bit harder, especially Zerk or Tank to an extent, as you're not able to get to all the mobs in time. But generally it's possible for every class. These mini bosses, Blouse and Rotte, they give excellent loot, including Time 1 boxes, which give Temujin loot when opened. For lab you must be level 60 to enter, but you can ask your guild if you're not strong enough to solo, and generally you should be able to get a good party. Every 30 days there's a daily quest which you can claim, which gives you a Zelnaris crafting package, which is excellent. Although inside the crafting package itself is the wrong recipe, so don't be fooled and use that recipe. I'll do another video on that at some point. Alrighty. Now, for the fourth wave, which will come, you want to keep your Boltra here, but you can move it to this lane. But this left lane is where you'll want to move your Boltra for the fifth and final wave, due to the fact that bombs spawn there. Yeah, again it's just very simple. Kill the mobs. Both sides have ranged mobs, so that's something to be aware of here. But generally it's alright. Halfway through this wave, the mobs will change. You'll say, in the chat it will say, you hear threatening roar deep within the labyrinth, and that basically just means the bosses, there we go, the bosses Rotte and Blouse spawn again, and now you've got more bombs coming from either side. So just be careful there. Also means you've got a lot of these necromancers. And we've got the girl here. As you can see, it's rather easy to get a little bit overwhelmed with the quantity of mobs coming in, but it's possible to deal with. I like to use standard mode because it means you can target pretty much anything you want and allows you a bit more freedom on what you want targeted. But it's all a personal choice. Have I been disconnected? Oh my goodness. That is what we call server lag. But luckily, it should all be okay, since my crystal is in good form. What happens on the fourth wave is a new boss spawns, He's fairly tanky, but anyone with decent DPS can deal with him fairly quickly, and he will just give more good loot. You can see here that there's a suspicious mender. Oh, I got one lucky box, wonderful. And she can do nothing basically, but you can get quests. Every day there's a different quest. It's all RNG what you get. Now move your Boltro to this left lane here because bombs will spawn, but don't move it too far towards the end, because if you want to dash over here it may follow you, and then you'll be dealing with loose bombs everywhere, which is quite not a good thing. Standby mode, and now we wait. If you're an assassin or magician, you can actually stand on the NPC here and jump onto the crystal. That's a fun trick I like to do. Girls will come from both mid and right lanes, so just be careful. But you can see they're attacking my Boltro there. That gives me a bit more time. And now we've got some trees up here, but again, easy to deal with. I like to use AoE attacks where I can on the right lane, because it just makes things a bit simpler. Kills everything off for me. Means I've got no loose mobs hanging around waiting to kill my crystal. I missed that magician there. Oh, look at that loot. Oh, there's the girl. That's alright, we can deal with it. As you can see, I went too far, so my pet has now teleported to me, which means a bit more chaos. You have to be careful with that, which is something I'm not very good at. It's fine though, you just need to make sure that the bombs are the first thing you deal with, as they're rather fast. If that means you target them separately or AoE this area first, that doesn't matter as long as they're dealt with. Now, the commander of the undead, Gradis, has appeared, and basically it's a Saturday lab day, so he's not that squishy. But you don't not want to kill him. That is very, very important. You want to keep him alive. You see my crystal's doing well? And you just need to wait a minute, because you just do all this, because after a minute Gradis here will spawn in more mini bosses with lots of loot. They give the best loot, to be honest, so it's well worth waiting the extra minute. I'm getting all this lovely loot. And he will stun you, and if you're not careful he will do a lot of damage, but that's why I'm on Constitution. Now there's a nice little trick you can do, where you can just simply stand here. It may or may not work because I'm not very tall, but he ought to just do a dance, and it's not working. That's fine. You can just move him here and then back here. There we go, see? He's just doing a dance. This means that he's not going to do any of his nasty skills, which can one-shot you, especially on Saturday. They consist of Call of the Earth and Earthquake mainly. Earthquake, he'll just spawn circles of pain, and they will stun you and throw you into the air and do a lot of damage. But Call of the Earth means he gains a 20-second cooldown, and then he does a one-shot skill. And the mobs that he spawns during that skill also heal him if they aren't killed. There are two types of mob, red and yellow. Killing the yellow ones will stun you, so do not AoE the mobs, but killing the red ones will stop him from healing. So that is something to bear in mind. Another handy trick is if you die in lab and there's only Gradius left, he will reset. So you don't need to worry about him spawning anything or the dungeon closing. You can always respawn here. It's also relevant if you're very powerful and he's on very low health and you don't want to accidentally one-shot him. You can simply kill yourself and he will respawn, or reset rather, and you can respawn and not have the stress of dealing with a rampaging Gradius or the worry that you're going to kill him. This may seem like a bit of a boring part, but it's very necessary. And there we go, the mobs have spawned. You want to stop them attacking Crystal. And as you can see, I've already got a special box from that. And now, it's time to kill Gradius. Since this is Saturday, he's not at all squishy. And you see the Call of the Earth skill there? This now means he's going to spawn mobs. These contaminated spirits, as I said earlier, they will stun you if you attack them. So do not. Just use your simple auto attack to kill these red ones, which will heal him. You can see the death sentence there. You want to immune that or get really far away, otherwise he will one-shot you. And now you can just kill him. Earthquake is fine as long as you don't stand in the earthquakes. Wonderful. And ignore this shrine, it's a Saturday, but it doesn't lead anywhere. That's a little guide of lab. I hope you've enjoyed this, and thank you for watching. And if you have any suggestions of any further videos I can do, or anything you want, drop a comment, leave a like, and subscribe. And I'll catch you in the next one.